What would you do if praying to God could cost you your life? Most of us pray in private when no one's watching. But imagine living in a world where prayer could get you arrested or even killed. This is the story of one man whose faith was stronger than fear, a man named Daniel. Daniel had been taken from his homeland of Jerusalem years before and brought to Babylon, a land filled with idols and kings who believed they were gods. Yet through every trial, Daniel stayed faithful. He rose to a high position under King Darius because he was wise, honest, and dependable. The king trusted him so much that he planned to put Daniel in charge of the entire kingdom. But that honor made the other officials furious. Their jealousy turned to hatred. They whispered in the shadows, "We'll never find any fault in Daniel unless it's about his God." So they came up with a plan. They approached King Darius with flattery, saying, "Your Majesty, you are so great that everyone should pray only to you. Make a law that for 30 days, no one may pray to any god or man except you. Whoever disobeys should be thrown into the lion's den." The king, pleased with their words, didn't see the trap hidden in their request. He signed the decree, and it became law, a law that could not be changed, not even by the king himself. When Daniel heard about the new law, his heart was not shaken. He knew what the decree meant, but he also knew the God he served. So, just as he had done every day before, he went to his room, opened the window facing Jerusalem, and knelt down to pray. He wasn't showing off. He was simply being faithful, as he always had been. 3 times a day, Daniel spoke with God, giving thanks even in the face of danger. But the officials were waiting. They burst into his home, caught him praying, and rushed to the palace to tell the king. When Darius heard the news, his face fell. He realized he had been tricked. All day, he tried to save Daniel, searching for a loophole in the law, pacing the palace halls in despair. But there was nothing he could do. The decree was unchangeable. At sunset, the guards brought Daniel to the edge of the lion's den. The king looked at him with sorrow and said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Then Daniel was lowered into the pit. The heavy stone rolled across the entrance, sealed with the king's own ring. That night, the palace was silent. The king could not eat. He could not sleep. He refused entertainment. His mind replayed Daniel's faith and the roaring of the lions below. But in the darkness of that den, something miraculous was happening. Daniel stood surrounded by lions, powerful, hungry beasts. Yet, instead of fear, there was peace. An unseen light filled the pit as an angel of God stood beside him. The lions' growls faded into silence. Their claws did not strike. Their mouths did not open. God had sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths. At dawn, the king rushed to the den and cried out in anguish, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God rescued you from the lions?" Then came a calm, steady voice, "My God sent his angel. The lions did not harm me." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel lifted out of the pit, and not a single scratch was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The men who had plotted against Daniel were thrown into the den themselves, and the lion's strength returned instantly. Then King Darius sent a decree throughout his kingdom, "The God of Daniel is the living God, whose kingdom will never be destroyed. He rescues and he saves." When faith is tested, fear whispers, "Stay silent." But Daniel's story reminds us that even in the lion's den, God is with us. So when you face your own den, when fear surrounds you and faith is tested, stand firm. Pray boldly. Trust the one who still shuts the mouths of lions. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of faith. Because your story isn't over, God is still writing it.